Hi, I'm Peter J. Ray. Welcome to Adventures in History. Today's topic is Dearest Mother and Dad. Love, Ruth, John, Mark, and Pamela. Ruth Smallshaw Ray's Letters to Her Parents. 1954, Part 90. 602 Huntmere Drive, Bay Village, Ohio. September 30th, 1954. Dear Mother and Dad, thank you for the birthday present that arrived the day before yesterday. Mark likes his new pants too, but is scared to death of the mask. I put it on and he said, "Mommy," as if to say, "Don't." He got so he wouldn't go in the room where it was, and when John held it up, Mark fairly shook, so we put it away. They have quite a system here. On the 22nd, your parcel arrived at the post office, and I got a card on the 23rd for the 15 cents always due. I put the 15 cents out on the 24th, and on the 27th I asked about it, and they had put the parcel in the wrong place, so I finally got it on the 28th. I'm coming to the conclusion that things are going to be busy around here for the next 20 years. Mark has had croup again. He got a cold last week, and I knew we were taking chances by taking him out Sunday for Pamela's christening and to dinner at Stouffer's. Sure enough, by night he was coughing and quite bad Monday night. The outside temperature has been 86 to 88 degrees, and with the shower going, the only thing that helps him, it's been like a Turkish bath in here. I guess we'll have it with every cold until his tonsils come out. It sure scares me, the coughing. John said Pamela, quote, looked like a little angel on Sunday in her long white gown. John's folks and Carol and Dave were there too. 2 other babies were christened, and one girl said Pamela was the prettiest baby. She did look sweet. She's so bold and has small eyes like her mommy, but she's bright-looking and was so good. We had a wonderful dinner, and I made an angel food cake with fluffy icing for her christening cake. Bud and Aunt Olive, John and I are her godparents, and I'll be sending them their certificates. Reverend Brown gave her such a fond look when he held her. I had lots of nice birthday cards, and the folks sent me $15. They gave Pamela a little bank and some money in it too. John has about 3 meetings a week, and I have 2 this week and next, so we're busy. We hope to go to Oberlin homecoming football game on the 9th, and John has to go to the Junior Chamber of Commerce car races all day on the 10th Sunday. We have a couple of bridge parties coming up too. I'll enclose Bobby's wedding write-up. I'd like it back to send to Muriel, who knew them. We enjoyed the wedding, except that we couldn't understand the Latin and never knew what was going on. There were little bells ringing and altar boys bounding around throughout. Bobby was engaged to a girl for about 4 years whom we didn't care for, and just met this girl a short while ago. Even until it was over, Mrs. Brooks was worried that this other girl might pop up. She's still wearing his diamond. Pamela is almost 15 pounds, so doing fine. Dale has been calling me for advice on nursing. Last week she said she had almost no milk, but the baby was gaining. This week she said she had plenty of milk, but had to nurse her 6 to 12 times a day, and she wasn't gaining. So today she quit and put her on the bottle, 3.5 weeks old. I guess I'm lucky. Thanks again for the birthday remembrance. Love, Ruth. 602 Huntmere Drive, Bay Village, Ohio, October 3rd, 1954. Dear folks, hi. Just a quick note, as I thought you'd like to see some more snaps of your grandchildren and Pamela in her christening gown. She's not particularly photogenic, or else I'm just prejudiced, for we thought she looked much sweeter than this, but she got tired before the snaps were taken. Went to church this morning up at 6 o'clock a.m. with the babies, and it's 10 o'clock p.m. now, so I'm tired. I must send some snaps to Bud if we get more prints. Be sure to show these to him. I must write him again. Also, congratulate him on the new job. Good night. Love, Ruth. 602 Huntmere Drive, Bay Village, Ohio, October 12th, 1954. Dearest Mother, My, but time flies by. I hope you enjoyed the snaps. The spoon arrived yesterday. Very nice of Pearl. That makes 6 spoons now. What a sweet thought. We have to pay 15 cents on every package. Border handling, they call it. A jip. I have ever since I came to the States. I thought I'd mentioned it. On Saturday, we took the children to meet the Rays, then went to the Oberlin homecoming football game. I drove and saw lots of John's college friends. Bruce was back from Rochester, New York. We went back to Sandusky for a good dinner. The children had been fine, and Pamela had had her first bottle. She's now 16 pounds. The Rays had bought Mark his birthday present, a real cute set winter coat, hat, and long trousers and brown shoes. They'd got Pamela new white shoes, so we have shoes for a few weeks. Mark grew out of his last ones in 4 weeks, and we got them 3/4 of an inch too long. Clothing is sure a problem. We had a good dinner and evening of bridge, but had to come home that night as John had to leave at 6:30 a.m. Sunday for the car races in Akron, Ohio, as he was on the committee. He didn't get home until 8 o'clock p.m. Last night he was bowling until 10:30. Tonight is the trustees' board meeting until after midnight. He left at 8 o'clock a.m. Between work and the meeting, he was working on the art show. They have over 400 entries in these 3 days. Tomorrow he has a meeting until 8 o'clock, and I have to leave then for the welfare committee meeting. I'll have to miss the church meeting. Thursday he takes the 3 judges to lunch before they judge the art show. Sunday we go down and hang the art show all day. Saturday night our bridge club is having a bowling party. A week from Monday is the premiere of John's art show, and we have to be there from 4 o'clock to 9 o'clock. I felt highly honored. I was asked to pour at the next Bay Junior Women's Club, about 175 members, but it's the same night as the art show, unfortunately. We think we have a smart son. When I was in the hospital, Mark met the Rays' next-door neighbor, Mr. Dunn. Saturday, 3.5 months later, Mark walked up and said, "Hell, Dunn." I heard Mrs. Ray calling his grandpa Doran. Tonight, when he was in the bathtub, I said, "What's your name, Mark? What's your name?" He answered, "Mark." So I said, "Mark Doran Ray," and he answered, "Mark Doran Gampa." Tonight, he said in his prayers, "God bless Doran Gampa." He'll be highly confused to find he has 2 other grandparents. He knows the red pants are from Grandma. As a matter of fact, he wore them just about every day for a while and wouldn't wear any others until I hid them to wash them. "Pretty pants, Grandma," he said. Good night. Love, John, Ruth, Mark, and Pamela. 602 Huntmere Drive, Bay Village, Ohio, October 21st, 1954. Dearest Mother, I was glad to get your letter and hear that you're all fine and that you enjoyed the snaps. You certainly have been doing the entertaining. We've had rather a tragic death in the family. I don't know if I've ever mentioned John's cousin Marilyn, a very pretty dark girl. They live in Huron near the folks in Sandusky. A week ago Monday, they thought she had the flu, and the doctor was treating her for that. By Wednesday, he sent her into Cleveland City Hospital in an ambulance as a polio suspect. Dick, her husband, stayed with their 2 children, Cheryl, 2, and a baby boy, almost 1. The next morning, John's mother went out to stay with the children while Dick came into Cleveland to see her. As he was ready to leave, they got a call, and John's mother had to tell him that Marilyn had died at 2 o'clock a.m., all alone. She'd only been in the hospital a few hours. Ted Zook got to the hospital after she died too. It was bulbar polio, and they've performed an autopsy to see about further complications. It was really flabbergasting to us all. She was only 24 years old, so pretty, and to leave those two darling children. The folks went up to Michigan for her funeral. Her mother is Mrs. Ray's sister, Rachel. Dick's mother has moved in to look after the children. Dick, the kiddies, and John's folks have all had the shots, and we aren't going to see them for a few weeks as a precaution. I'd promised to go up to the polio ward at Christmas to paint scenes on the windows, but I called and said I wouldn't go now. There are other things I can do. It's too contagious. I'm on a committee and we're getting new floor chair and aspirator. John raised $1,670 for purchase prizes for a picture to go into several hospitals. They chose lovely pictures from his art show. We hung the show last Sunday, and Monday is the preview from 5 o'clock to 9 o'clock. I'm going down for that too. He's done a terrific job. We had a nice bowling and bridge party, 18 of us, last Saturday, and next week after we take down the art show, we're invited to another one. We played bridge Tuesday. John has about 4 meetings a week. I thought I'd mentioned John's weight losing. He was up to 215 pounds last Christmas, 185 when we were married, so he couldn't even wear his wedding suit. So we cut out potatoes and desserts, and he lost 25 pounds last spring down to 190 and is back up to 194 now. The doctor thinks he should only weigh a 185, so he feels he should keep it down. Feels better too. Mark and Pamela get cuter every day. Mark says, "Let's go see Grandpa." "Okay, let's go. Open door. Go see Grandpa." And he really wants to go. Pamela raises her eyebrows like me and wrinkles her nose like John. She's a sweetie. Mark watched John put sugar in his coffee and said, "Where did it go?" "Behind the tea." Good night. Love and hope your birthday is nice. John, Ruth, Mark, and Pamela. P.S. Anything to wear. Tell Bud and Doris. Pamela only has 2 dresses that fit her now, a pink and yellow. She's outgrown her 6-month size green one and wears a year-old size now. 1.5 to 2 years would be better. The ones she has are Carter sets that you don't have to iron with matching pants. Not anything too dressy, but more for every day. Or corduroy overalls, anything to wear, socks, etc. Tell them not to worry about it, as we know how tight finances can be. We owe several wedding and baby gifts. I must write Bud and tell him how happy I am for him in his new job, and sure hope he does fine in the exams. Tough, I know. How well do we remember the bar exams and law exams that John wrote after a day's work? I used to sit after my classes and wait for him and see the poor fellows come out, some like they were drunk, pale, perspiring, others flushed, a real grind. I had a few all-night study sessions myself, although nothing so tough. Good night, all. 602 Huntmere Drive, Bay Village, Ohio, October 26, 1954. Dearest Mother, Hi. Just thought you'd be interested in these newspaper clippings, and you'll see why your son-in-law has been so busy. We're certainly proud of the good job he's done. He's certainly had high praise from the art circles. Saturday he meets the director of the art museum, just returned from Europe. They're telling him that he should continue directing art shows, and he's the best they've had. He deserves it all, though. We had over 200 at the preview Monday night, a busy time. I'm also enclosing the receipt. Do you want the snaps back? We think you look so well. The Rays all saw them too. Sorry I hadn't mentioned it. I've had a sore throat for a month and finally went to see Ted Zook Saturday. They can't give me sulfa or anything since I'm nursing the baby, and it'll knock her out too. He thinks it's just fatigue, that I can't shake it, so must try to get more rest. Hard to do, though. I made Christmas ornaments last night for the polio ward. I certainly wish Bud luck on his exams. I plan to write him and send his godfather's certificate. We had a nice letter from Aunt Olive, which I'll send when I answer. We paid $14,800 for our house, $88 monthly payments. Taxes are high in Bay Village, $170 a year. I'll write Bud about it. I had a letter from Marion. She's still pregnant but is having a very rough time, I guess. I'll send her letter later too. Mark can spell his name. I spelled out our name over the phone, and when I was through, Mark said, R-E-A, Ray. He calls elastic bands hiccups. I put a band around his wrist and said, there are your handcuffs. So now he calls them hiccups. You can keep the clippings for a while to show Bud, as I have another set. May want them later, though. The folks got Mark a little wagon. They're coming over to see the art show. John took Mark to church and Sunday school, but he cried and wouldn't let John leave him. They got John to take up collection, though. Tomorrow night we're going to get a pumpkin. Mark will have fun watching and helping his daddy make a jack-o'-lantern. John has a late meeting tonight, so I'm going to bed, very tired. These two children really keep you going, and I washed the doors and woodwork today. Good night. Love, John, Ruth, Mark, and Pamela. 602 Huntmere Drive, Bay Village, Ohio, November 9th, 1954. Dearest Mother and Dad, many, many thanks for the lovely parcel that arrived for Mark today. They didn't even bring the usual card for 15 cents, so we didn't have to wait the extra days. I'm now at the place where clothes for the children thrill me more than anything for myself. Everything is just fine. Pamela will wear the dress for Thanksgiving when we go to Marion, Ohio, and the white shirt is just what I wanted for Mark, to have his 2-year-old picture taken in. He certainly needs overalls, too. It's so nice to have some pink pajamas. Every time Pamela wears Mark's old blue ones or his blue overalls, everyone says, I see she's wearing Mark's clothes. The corduroy overalls are so pretty for Mark, too, and thanks a million for the money order. If I can find one, I want to get him a little plaid flannel shirt like the red one you sent John. I think they'd look cute together. Maybe some blue jeans to go with them. It's almost impossible for me to get shopping, but we'll try. Today is wee Mark's birthday. 2 years. Seems like I've had him here all my life. Today he sang over the telephone to his daddy. Happy birthday, you. Happy birthday, you. Happy birthday, Mark. Happy birthday, you. A real sweet little song. John had a board of trustees meeting tonight, bowling last night, so he had Mark's party Sunday. John's folks came over. I will send you the snaps later. We've really had quite a time the past couple of weeks. A week ago Saturday, John's folks came in to see his art show and came by here to give Mark his wagon. It was snowing. Halloween and such heavy wet snow, only 4 kiddies came for treats. I'd made popcorn balls, and John cut out a jack-o'-lantern for Mark. The folks left about 8:30, and John got home from taking down the art show about 9:15, and we went to a party. At 9:40, the lights went out, and the babysitter called that it was getting cold. No furnace. The thermostat runs by electricity. The lights went on again where we were, so we didn't think much about it, and arrived at 2:30 a.m. to a very cold house. We didn't get electricity here until 2:00 p.m. Monday. The heavy snow broke so many trees and electric wires. 600 men were working to restore power, and I think we were the last to get it. What a freak, and how we missed it. We got the furnace going Sunday morning, but Mark had got a cold and had croup for a week. No toaster, no refrigerator, all frozen food and meat defrosted, candlelight after 6:00 p.m., no electric razor, no steamer for croup, and no washing machine. I could hardly wash diapers fast enough by hand. Mark uses 2 and Pamela 1, and they wet faster than I could get them washed and dry. And Mark's croup. John was up every 8 minutes until 12:30 one night. He finally fell asleep on the floor by his bed. He's pretty much okay now except for a cold. I kept the 2 children apart all week, but now Pamela has a cold. I haven't gone to bridge or anywhere but church. John's uncle died in Marion Sunday night, and John is driving down for the funeral Thursday and leaving at 5:30 a.m. Mark won't like that. He's John's shadow in the morning. Ann Duff has had pneumonia for a week and been in an oxygen tent. She got labor pains too, but is okay now. One of our neighbors got polio. Remember I was supposed to pour at the junior women's? She did instead. She also will be okay and is pregnant. They asked me to pour on November 22nd so I can make it this time. What to wear? Vera and Alex are going back to Philadelphia, and we're going to a farewell party on November 20th. I had a sandwich, loaf, and angel cake for Mark's birthday. Ice cream, mints, nuts, balloons, and hats. John taught Mark to say Grandma Smallshaw and Grandpa Smallshaw, and he said, "Pretty dress for Pamela, Grandma Smallshaw. Pretty pants, Grandpa Smallshaw. Pretty dress, Pamela, happy birthday." He's quite a gabskites. He sang for his daddy, but when John's mother phoned from Marion, he wouldn't utter a sound. Carol got him some cute corduroy pants and flannelette shirt. He sure needed them. Sure wish you were nearer so you could come in. I enjoyed your last letter so much. I've been feeling so blue and worn out. I would just love to have had a talk, but a letter is the next best thing. Say, I got a relish dish with pickle fork and spoon and white orchid for Bud and Doris for Christmas. Tell me, do they already have one? Don't tell them, but I don't know whether to send it or not. I suppose they could exchange it there for something else if they have one. Their second anniversary on the 11th. I'm sending a card, but I must write to Bud. But I seem to never have time or am too tired. Love you, and many thanks. I sure appreciated the clothes. I didn't mean to complain about the 15 cents. I think it's a silly system, and they make me annoyed when they bring the card that 15 cents is due them. I have to wait a day to return it and another day for the parcel. 2 days later I get it. Very frustrating. I told the mailman and he agrees it's silly. We'll tell you what I get for Mark. Good night. Good night. Love, John, Ruth, Mark, and Pamela. P.S. A mother of 3 was putting their children to bed and said, "Dear God, give me strength." Her daughter, age 5, says, looking upward, "Come on, God, give her some." We need it sometimes, mostly always, to be continued. Now, Ruth included in one of the letters to her mother a program from their church, St. Barnabas Episcopal Church, Wolf and Bradley Roads in Bay Village, Ohio. The Reverend William S. Brown, rector, 8 o'clock a.m. Holy Communion on Sunday, and 11 o'clock a.m. morning prayer and sermon. Holy Communion on the first Sundays. The United Thank Offering in Gathering will be held on Sunday, April 25th at the 11 o'clock service. Please put your offering in the envelope, which you will receive in the mail within the next few days. Through the Builders for Christ campaign, which has a $4,150,000 goal for Capitol's building funds, you can help strengthen our church's ministry, not only overseas, but here in the United States also. Domestic missionary work goes on every day among many of this country's minority or underprivileged groups, such as migrant workers, Indians, and Negroes, and also among people living in rural or sparsely settled areas. $300,000 has been set aside of the Builders for Christ campaign goal to provide most urgently needed church buildings in this country. Your generous and sacrificial contribution in your Easter envelope to the Builders for Christ campaign is extremely important for the strengthening of the church's work in our seminaries, overseas, and at home. The church will be open Thursday and Friday during Holy Week for private prayer and meditation. A schedule of half-hour periods has been posted on the bulletin board, and those who care to are asked to sign their names, signifying their willingness to come to the church during that period. This will provide not only an opportunity for you as an individual to make your prayers and meditations during these two important holy days, but will help the devotional life of the parish by having someone in the church praying continuously. The Altar Guild, Mrs. Elliot D. Jones, Mrs. David H. Hartall, and Mrs. Warren P. Coleman. Servers, Tom Butts, Gary Spias, Doug Jacoby, and George Ouellette. Ushers, Mr. John S. Ray, Mr. George F. Corson, Mr. John R. Dangler, and Mr. Theodore H. Smith. Now we have one comment on the original publication from Tessa J. Delina, the former secretary of Restless Educational Center in Metro Manila, Philippines. Dear Mr. Ray, greetings to you and your family. Thanks once again for this particular issue, number 40, and for the past issues that you have shared with me. As always, I can't wait to read them. It's like you're watching a drama series soap opera and you don't want to miss a single episode. I love the cover photos. I wonder what it is in babies that I like so much. Perhaps it's their innocence written all over their faces. I particularly liked the last baby photo of Pam. With Mark up and about and quite so active, Pamela looks so fragile, but so cute too. Ruth seems to love every minute of it, being a housewife, raising her children, doing domestic work, etc., as she was still planning to have some more children. John appeared to be quite inspired with his family, and it shows or reflects in his work by excelling at it. Mark is at his age wherein he can be so adorable at one time, but then most of the time he needs to be guarded. He sure looks quite advanced for his age and still looks very cute and cuddly in his baby photos. Until your next wonderful issue, sincerely yours, Tessa J. Delina, Quezon City, Philippines. Well, that concludes today's presentation. Good luck to you with your efforts in family history if this interests you, finding, preserving, and sharing old letters, diaries, photographs, family movies, and videos, and interviewing elderly relatives while they're alive. You might consider checking out our website, Adventures in History with Peter J. Ray at peterjray.com. So far, we've made 621 history videos in 7 areas: world history, American history, book reviews, poetic tours, Cleveland baseball, family history, and autobiography. There's a donate button. You might consider making a donation so we can continue making these videos. You also, might consider checking out our podcast, Adventures in History. If you live in Metro Manila, Philippines, and are looking for a high school, you might consider Restless Educational Center, which is located in San Juan, Metro Manila. At Restless, we specialize in helping young people who have had difficulty in the larger traditional high schools. And the website is restless.education, RESALEST. Thanks so much for watching. I really appreciate it. God bless you. Take care. And I'll see you next time.